one we're in Bali. Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Seth. Keeping it real. And today I get to have CJ Rosenbaum with me here on the Just One Dime channel. CJ, how is your day going so far, brother?
Hey, the day is awesome, but awesome might be not so great for sellers. We're swamped, which means a lot of people being suspended, which kind of sucks for sellers. But we're getting reinstatements in really quickly again, just like last year. Like first, the suspension sped up, but then the reinstatements start to catch up. So I'm really psyched that we're getting the reinstatements. It sucks that people are getting suspended, but I'm really psyched that we're getting the reinstatements as quickly as we are.
Suspensions are like becoming so common on Amazon. It's pretty much, if you sign up, you'll get in a suspension. You have to fight it for a little bit and then get back on. Like it's becoming so regular, it's almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there are ways that sellers can do some business where they can avoid a lot of the suspensions, staying up on webinars like the ones with you, avoiding certain brands, they can avoid it. But I think it is. It's kind of like a cost of doing business. You know, you don't have to open up a warehouse of your own. But you got to be prepared to deal with the suspensions, both on the ASIN level and the account level. But I don't want anyone to shy away from Amazon because of it. It's still tremendous opportunities. I mean, just like unheard of opportunities on Amazon to make money and do well. It's just one of the things you have to learn, one of the things you have to manage.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm going to start with a personal question. So tell me something unique about yourself that most people don't know.
Okay. Something unique is that this line of work, like I always worked with entrepreneurs.
Right.
Always. I had guys who were like buying and selling dirty water dog trucks in Manhattan, all the way up to buying a block and the businesses that were involved. But when this really came to fruition for me, it was like at a time where I needed my life to change. I'd gone through a divorce, was wrapping up a really ugly custody fight. And then a seller who was a really close friend of mine had bought into a business and got suspended, and he's looking around and he says, there's nobody to help me. You know, you got to look into this. And so the whole sort of life-changing thing, it was like the timing couldn't have been better with the divorce and the wrapping up of a really nasty custody fight and then shifting gears and pivoting into this. And, you know, most people, you know, I tell people I got into this, you know, by a particular seller who told me that there was a need for it. But most people didn't know, like he came to me like the perfect time to change a life. I mean, listen, there's nothing worse than a nasty custody fight. I mean, it gets so ugly. So that's one of the things people don't know about me, that like a lot of our sellers, they make a change in life and they jump into this thing. You know, so did I. It's kind of like why we get it. Because I also left something behind and jumped into this, you know, with both feet.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, man. And it's funny how sometimes it's through a really weird or crazy or painful situation that good stuff comes out of that and creates a new opportunity. And
I got a joke though about it.
What's that?
I got a joke. You know why divorce is so expensive?
Why is that?
Because it's effing worth it.
I bet you list of jokes to share. Here's the we talk about this a lot on this show is, and I totally love your transparency. When there's something going on that's crazy or painful or discouraging or whatever, challenging, sometimes the best things grow out of that situation. And that's what a lot of the people watching the show here today have done and are doing or in the midst of. For me, it was working at Apple. Apple's a great company, but I was sick of corporatocracy. I was tired of all the political butt kissing that went on. And I decided, like, this is crazy. I'm creating a spreadsheet tracker to track tasks of a tracker. Like it was tracker inception. And I thought, this is insane. I cannot do this for the rest of my life, sitting here in this little office at my home, just on a computer screen, managing a tech support team. And that's when I realized I need to do something different. So let me ask you this, CJ. What would you say has been your biggest, most crazy win for an Amazon seller? Like some story you can share where something was crazy, it was a mess, and you guys were able to come in and clean it up.
I'll tell you, first thing, one of the things I love about you is how inspirational. So I am a total believer in you choose to be happy or you choose not to be happy. So if you're not happy at your job, whether it's at Apple or any place else, you got to choose to make a change. And this allows you to change in the way that you want to. The craziest thing, I think, was probably when we had IP complaints, rights owner complaints, by a law firm in the Midwest against a seller, and the law firm wasn't responding, which is really unusual. We almost always get responses. They may not agree with us, right? May have a little bit of a fight on our hands, but we almost always get responses. And this freaking law firm wasn't responding. So I'm sitting there with the client and we're going back and forth and we just start like checking the Google images. And it was a spoof. A whole website was spoof. The law firm didn't exist. Like it had the senior partner is like, you know, Joe Black from Wisconsin, but it really was like, you know, Steve somebody else from California. And then we Google image the other partners and the other associates. They changed the names, and the whole email was all fake. The whole website was fake, and this was written about by CNBC. So we gathered all the information. We sent mail that came back as undeliverable. The phone numbers didn't work, you know, audio recordings. And we finally dumped all this on Amazon's lap and said, this is all BS. This doesn't exist. And they didn't reinstate until we got the journalist at CNBC involved. And that's kind of one of the last-ditch efforts that we do, that if it's a really good story, we'll reach out to journalists. So I've seen a lot of spoof emails. I've seen a lot of emails where they actually spoof the seller's email address or big brands' addresses. But this was like the first and so far the only entire website that was built just to send in a baseless IP complaint. So it had to be like seller versus seller. But that's probably one of the craziest things. And yeah, it was picked up by CNBC.
Wow. What do you think about this concept? And we hear this so much, and this happens. You are guilty until proven innocent when it comes to Amazon. So someone finds a product, they private label it, they differentiate it, they get it going, and then all of a sudden it's closed or it's banned or it has the little red market next to it on the left side, and they get this message in the notification center with a little flag in Seller Central, and it says, your listing, there is a trademark claim against your listing. And you go, wait a minute, is there really? Or there's a patent claim against your listing. Right. And then you go and research it, and a lot of the time, that's not the case. Or maybe it's a patent pending that hasn't actually gone through yet, or it isn't a trademark, but someone's claiming. Why does Amazon do that? Is it because they're trying to cover their butt? So they're just going to make sure there's no risk for them. So immediately, if there's a risk, they just shut them down until they prove themselves to be innocent?
It totally covers Amazon's behind and protects them from any liability at all. We even see this for private labels, like, you know, you or one of your followers creates their own brand, right? Their own logo, their own shirt, their own piece of jewelry, whatever it is. And then they start getting rights owner complaints when they own all the rights, right? They created the entire thing. So what Amazon has done, they took this body of law called the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. And that law provides nothing but safety for platforms like Amazon and eBay and all the big platforms. And what it says is that if you have a copyright complaint as a platform, you just kick them off, throw your hands up, and you say, you know what, you guys, you fight it out. And when it's resolved, let us know what happened. We'll put you back on. So Amazon now applies that to copyright, patent, trademark, trade dress, all the different issues out there. And on like eBay, where it's a little bit more of a robust complaint system, like you need to have a little bit more to make a complaint.
Right.
Amazon's complaint system is like nothing. It's like you sneeze at it and sellers get knocked off. So they do, and they have exploded this thing to the point where it's just kind of ridiculous. Like really, not every complaint, but close to it. Plus, Amazon's team that looks at these things, they have no training in intellectual property law. There are no, as far as I'm aware, and we handle a lot of arbitrations against Amazon, and I cross-examine a lot of witnesses from Amazon. As far as I'm aware, they have no legal training, no paralegal training, no anything about IP rights. Yet these are the people that can like shut down an account with the click of a mouse based upon a totally baseless IP complaint.
Right.
And they don't even have the capability to differentiate between like ones that are totally baseless versus ones that might have some merit. And it's a huge flaw in the system. Hopefully they fix it one of these days. They have made a little bit better system when you actually own rights. Like if you are a private label seller, they've improved that. And so I'm hoping the minds over there improve this aspect as well. But right now, yeah, I mean, really like any complaint could cause you not just the loss of the ASIN, but like your whole account could go down.
Yeah. So what about the sellers? So here's what's going on. Someone has an item, it's doing 20,000 revenue a month. There's 40% profit on that. All of a sudden, someone makes a complaint. Amazon shuts it down. It takes 4 weeks just to go back and fight it, improve it, and get it back up again. Now they lost $20,000 revenue. What are an Amazon seller's rights in that kind of situation, and what do you guys do to help them? Okay,
first, it shouldn't take 4 weeks. Okay, it should not take 4 weeks. As soon as you get it, You should be right on top of it. And it says right in the email, contact the complainant. You know, it gives you the email address. Right. So as soon as you get it, you should write to them, say, I got it. We take it really seriously. I'll get right back to you. If the complaint is baseless, what we do is we write a letter on our letterhead, which carries some weight, that says there's no violation. It's not trademark, patent, trade dress, copyright. Your complaint is baseless. Withdraw it. If you're a seller handling it yourself, you can do the same thing and say, wait a second, this is my product. It's my mark. Or I bought it at the Marshalls, or I sourced it here. There's no violation.
Yeah.
Then give a short leash. Give 2 days. And if they don't withdraw the complaint or they don't respond, then you write to notice-dispute@amazon.com. Notice-dispute@amazon.com. You write to them that you did exactly what Amazon wants. You contacted the complainant, and they either blew you off or they said, go jump in a lake. You're not violating, reinstate. Amazon is either going to say no, right? Or they're going to say yes. So if they say yes, everybody's happy, and Seth and CJ are geniuses for giving this information. If they say no, if you clearly own the rights, if you're clearly not doing anything wrong, you could submit what's called a counter notice. And basically, you're telling that brand to either put up or shut up. Either they have to sue you, or the complaint goes away.
Right.
And so there's no way these things should take 4, 6, 8 weeks unless you really are doing something wrong, and then you need to negotiate. But even sellers, even if you are violating somebody's rights, okay, you can always negotiate a resolution. 9 out of 10 times, or 95 out of 100, if you just tell the brand, listen, we won't sell your products anymore, okay? Take back your complaint, they almost always will. There's a couple of more twists and turns that come up, but that's the big picture. But 4 weeks is a long time to be down.
Yeah. What do you think of the strategy? So some people, and I can see it as an effective strategy for getting sales, is they'll register a patent with their product, and that product is, they know it's probably never going to get approved as a utility patent or design patent, but they still register, and they kind of string it out for a while. So when you go to Amazon, it says patent pending. Oh, someone just said wave at the camera. Hey, everybody, I'm here. I'm live. This is not recorded. It's being recorded, but we are live right now. So if CJ,
Can you see the audience right now?
What's that?
Can you see the audience right now on your end?
I can see the chats coming through. Yeah. So someone said, Seth, wave at the camera. I think he wants to know that we're actually live. One time someone said, please sing happy birthday to my mom, because the mom says it's not true. They're not live. So we all say happy birthday. But anyways, so someone has a patent, and they just, keep lingering out, and kind of, and I talked to a patent attorney who told me, like, this works. So if I come along and I'm interested in, and I come up with this idea, and I realize, wait a minute, someone else has a very similar idea, and it says patent pending, I'm afraid to sell that product, because what if it does go through, then I just wasted tons of hours and tons of money. What are your thoughts on that strategy? Have you seen people use that effectively? You're a lawyer. I have to ask you this question.
All right. First of all, the patent pending is really nonsense. It doesn't give you any rights at all. It's bullshit. Okay. And Amazon's people, once you get to a certain level, will recognize that. The problem is that at the MPA level, the person looking at the basic complaints, they don't know anything. Okay. But no, we don't stretch any of that out. And in fact, if you're talking about a patent, you got to look at it. Is it a design patent or a utility patent? If it's a design patent, you just change it a little bit. And as long as it's different, that wouldn't violate the patent anyway. If it's a utility patent, then you may want to switch gears a little bit, because if that utility patent goes through, the damages that that company can get back from you are going to go all the way back to when they applied for it. But in terms of back on, this actually a slam dunk easy win. Sometimes also with these, that's kind of the last episode. Design your product of it. If you want to use this as a sword and kind of hurt other sellers, don't do that. I'm not lost. But we don't do that, and I don't really think it's effective in ways of doing baseless. You're putting your own accounts.
Can you still hear me, CJ?
Yep. The screen for but I still am.
Okay, sorry, I'm losing you just a little bit. Can you hear me right now, man?
Yes.
Okay, cool. The audio went out for a minute. Okay, cool. Awesome. So I heard most of that. So basically, Design patent, you can adjust it a little bit, change it so there's no issues. Utility patent, you have to look way deeper into because that is much harder to compete with and it's more protected. Did I summarize that correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, 100% accurate.
What would you say is the most common complaint Amazon sellers bring and say, CJ, can you guys and your team of lawyers in New York help us out?
It's still the inauthentic suspension. Amazon wants to see where you got your products from. Sometimes it's because certain brands are sort of hot. Sometimes it's just, you don't really know why. Keep your invoices, keep your receipts. There's still a boatload of money being made in retail arbitrage. Just keep really good records. Also, sellers, you can't just use the data on the dashboard. You got to keep your own records, download the spreadsheets, download the data. But number one thing is I'm suspended for inauthentic. What do I do? And it's a quick, down and dirty, simple plan of action. Attach your invoices and get it out the door. So if you're organized in advance, it comes in, you send it right out the door, your plan of action, and it's a real easy thing to recover from. That's still number one. As of late, there's been a higher trend, a higher number of IP complaints by brands. They are totally exploiting Amazon's easy way to make complaints. So the same thing, if a brand makes a complaint, you got to address it really quickly. You got to get right back in the game as quickly as possible.
So if you get your product, let's just say you get it from Shenzhen, China, and there's this pro forma invoice, which isn't exactly the same as a retail invoice, and they send you this pro forma, and you're going, okay, what do I do with this invoice? And it's all written in Mandarin, or half of it is in Mandarin. And then you send that into Amazon. They're like, you know what? This isn't an official invoice. It doesn't count. It doesn't say invoice number at the top. Do you guys help generate invoices to substitute that? Do you have another company that helps with that? Like, what does a seller do when they sourced it from China, but Amazon does not accept those invoices, even though the product is 100% legit? And now it seems like there's just a communication barrier. What do you think of that?
Okay, they don't take invoices if you submit something from like Alibaba, okay? Yep. But if you have straight from the factory or straight from the middleman over in China, we have our team in China translate them.
Nice.
With a translation on top of it, right? You can have pictures of the factory where it's coming from. You can attach your emails with the factory, designing your product, creating a prototype, getting the sampling of all those communications. Throw all that in there with a really short, simple, persuasive plan of action. So you have the documents. You just got to make it a little bit easier for the guy in Hyderabad or Bangalore who's reading this thing to say, oh yeah, here's the invoice, here's the English translation. Yep. Look at it, it matches up, right? Pictures of the factory, pictures of the workers, copies of your emails, and you just got to find ways of beefing it up to show this is legitimate.
Legit.
An invoice from Alibaba, okay? Never do that. Now, Alibaba is often just a intermediary to the factories.
Right.
So get your invoices from the factory. You can buy through Alibaba. It's an incredible platform. But you want the invoices directly from the factory.
Yeah. What if you're working with a trading company? And a lot of these places in Alibaba, they will say they're factories, but they're trading companies. And they have all these, people who speak English and they great English, but they're not really the factory. Like, hey, I need the invoice for this. And like, well, we don't really have something from the factory, but we can send you a pro forma. Is that something where you guys can come in and mediate a little bit in that kind of situation?
When it comes to like the plan of action, the escalation, and the Bezos team, we are ghost writing for sellers. We're just writing a really great plan of action and organizing your invoices. Sometimes we'll pull stuff out. Sometimes we'll have our team in China translate it. So we'll do a little more research. If it's a brand we have a good relationship, made a complaint, I'll reach out to them and say, hey, did you make this complaint? And they'll write back no. And I'll say, okay, listen, can you send me an email that you have no issue with this seller? And they will. Nice. When you get further than that, if you fail at the plan of action level, if you plan at the escalation, plan of action policy team escalation, then you have to go to like an arbitration. Then there's a lot of human interaction between us and the outside lawyers that represent Amazon. But the vast majority of sellers never have to go there. You just have to be a little more concise and persuasive and add more meat to the bones. And that could be a lot of different ways. It could be your emails. It could be the translation. It could be photographs. It could be a picture of you at the Chinese factory. Let's say you go to like Hong Kong, right? And you're going to like Global Sources or you're going to the Canton Fair, right? You have pictures of it. You can show your airline tickets. All this. There's a Yiddish word called mishigas, right? it kind of means like craziness, right? All this craziness is just trying to persuade the man or woman in India to reinstate your account. So beef it up and be persuasive.
Right. Nice. I mean, it really is a form of sales. You're persuading them, convincing them, showing them this is legit. Is this? Would you say this is true? 90% of this is about communication.
90% about is persuasive communication.
Persuasive communication.
You know, also, there's a lot of stuff you shouldn't write to people in India who are reading this stuff. There's a lot of stuff. I've told this before to other groups, and I hate saying the same thing. I would
love to have a list of all that stuff, CJ.
Yeah, like, don't tell them about your children's private school. Don't tell them you can't make your Benz payment, you know? Don't tell them, like, your cable TV with 600 channels got turned off. Because some of them don't have running water, okay? So stick to it, concise, persuasive. The people who are reading these things don't have a lot of time. They have quotas. I have not been able to get that information of what the quotas are. Right. But in every single arbitration I participate in, I cross-examine to try and get those quotas out of them. But I know they have quotas. Yeah. So it's concise, persuasive, and respectful. Good business communication.
When I was in Seattle, you spoke at a conference there. And by the way, everyone, CJ, the link to his lawyer firm is in the about description of the video. I encourage you guys to check that out. The reason I entitled this show with How to Kick Amazon's Ass is because CJ will do that. Not only does he live in New York, but he will do it. If you want someone to go in there and put on some boxing gloves and make it happen, he and his team will do. I can't see how many people told me about you, CJ, before I met you. I already knew who you were pretty well. So this is awesome. But I remember in Seattle, you talked about something about arbitration and how Amazon, help me understand, but something to do with the contract. They will do arbitration with you, with the seller and a representative, and they don't want their secrets to go public. So usually in arbitration is where they'd rather settle than going to court in case there was a really big issue with a multi-million-dollar seller. Can you expound on that a little bit and what that?
Yeah. Yep. First of all, I think it's actually a really good part of the contract. Okay. Listen, most sellers don't even know where the contract is. They think terms of service, participation. It's actually called the Business Solutions Agreement. Right. And you can find it by either Googling it or clicking through the definitions. That's your contract with Amazon. And you gave up your right to go to court in exchange for resolving things at arbitration, which is really good for sellers because it's relatively cheap and it's relatively quick. One of the problems is that everything that occurs in arbitration is confidential. Now, I don't really know what happens if you breach that. Are they really going to come after you? You know, I don't know. But everything is confidential, and it does spark resolutions, just like court, like how most lawsuits, most car accident cases settle. A lot of the arbitrations resolve right before the hearing because it's not so much that they're afraid, it's that they finally have someone with a brain paying attention to it. Or, you know, that's a little rough. Someone who has the time to pay attention to it. So by going to arbitration, you get a lot of facts, you get a lot of information, you can get documents, you get a resolution. And one of the things that I think that is better about us than anybody else is, one, the whole team of people in the room next to me, one guy, part of a team. We are about 20 people strong now worldwide. All the writing, all the plans of action come out of here. Okay. And you get a huge benefit by people bouncing ideas off each other. Right. Another thing is we actually I could tell them, listen, if it's not reinstated, I'm filing tomorrow. That's it. You know, that's fine. And then we'll have to produce somebody. And when they do testify, which happened a couple of times, to get back to your question, I'm sorry, I'm kind of rambling here. We've had a witness when I say, okay, tell me all the different ways that Amazon has of linking accounts to find related accounts. And the guy's like, I can't tell you that. I'm like, you can't tell me, you're refusing or you don't know? He's like, I'm refusing. I'm not allowed to tell you that stuff. And I'm like, well, you're the witness from Amazon, yes, and you're produced today, and there's no one behind you. You're the guy. Yeah. Well, tell me how many different ways there are. I'm not telling you.
Wow.
And I'm like, great. Strike his testimony. We win. Okay? And it really is great because every time I'm cross-examining their witness, right, they know it's secret information. They also know if they don't testify, they're going to lose. Right. So each time we're able to pull out more and more and more information that we then use to help other sellers get reinstated. Like I can't go and say, oh, this is what I learned from so-and-so witness, you know, last Wednesday.
But it's stupid. No, but you can still use it.
But I am confident to tell everyone who's willing to listen that I know more about how Amazon looks at your invoices than anybody else, other than the woman who I cross-examine every couple of weeks. So listen, I love this stuff. I get to do some of my trial work that I did a lot of. I get to help entrepreneurs every day. Yeah. This is killer. I mean, I love working with sellers. Awesome.
Yeah. Here's a question, and it may or may not be up your guys' alley. Tell me if it is or isn't. So someone decides to sell a product, and they notice that general kind of product is already selling really well on Amazon. So they go ahead and they list it. And within 5 minutes, sometimes within 2 weeks, there's a notification that they are not allowed to sell this product because it is prohibited. So they go over to the list of prohibitions, and there's nothing there that says anything about it being prohibited. They're going, what in the world do I do? So they contact Seller Central, and they talk to them. And I've seen people do this every single day for 3 weeks to try to get an answer. By the way, guys, you need to talk to CJ if you want to speed that process up. Now you know where that 3-4 weeks is coming from. And they're asking, what is the issue? And everyone says something different. No one really seems to know what's going on. In that kind of situation, do you guys deal with that? And if you do, what would that look like?
Sure, we do deal with that all the time. And here's the problem. It's one of the great things about Amazon and one of the most awful things about Amazon. They give their staff a lot of leeway in how they do their job. They give them a lot of independence, a lot of great new ideas, right? On the other hand, it results in terribly erratic decisions on the same set of facts. So if you're stuck in that, do exactly what we do. You got to stop making the phone calls. The phone calls, you might as well bang your head against a wall or jump out your own window. Stop with the phone calls. They rarely help. We've seen them help once in a while. Right. But you got to develop the paper trail and show the reader at Amazon, here's the same product. Here's a screenshot. You're saying it's prohibited, but you got 15 sellers selling it. Right. I should be allowed also. So it's the same thing. You got to persuade who you're writing to. And we do unfortunately see that. Amazon is an extremely erratic platform. The people reading these things don't have a lot of time. They may not know there's 5 other sellers selling the same, skin cream on Amazon, right? Or the same, the microphone you listen to the baby in a woman's belly or whatever. So right. You sometimes have to show them what you think should be immediately known. We all kind of talk from our perspective. Like if you're selling microphones online. But you're writing to someone in Hyderabad who might not know anything about microphones. Yeah. So you may have to tell them the basics. This is the microphone. There are 5 other sellers selling it. There's nothing wrong with it because clearly it's being sold. It's not prohibited. And you can even print out the prohibited products with an arrow. It's not here. Yeah. Sometimes you have to prove a negative. This is kind of the price that we pay to have access to millions and millions and millions of consumers without owning factories worldwide or warehouses worldwide. So write it down, do your plan of action, follow it up at least every 2 days. If you're not getting a response, dumb everything down so you can be more persuasive and simple to the reader. And that's how you get back on. It's not rocket science. We're really good at it, but it's not rocket science. Yeah. Anybody can do their own plan of action.
I like how you say dumb it down, because I think what a lot of people assume, well, it's Amazon. There's this huge professional company, and they have these really badass lawyers who know the law like the back of their hand, and there's no way I could ever break into that, so I got to really figure this out. When in reality, it's people who don't know what they're doing. I'm not saying the people higher up, but some of the people dealing with these, they don't understand law, they don't understand IP. And so making it simple and clear, and I mean this in the most respectful way possible, as if you were talking to a 5-year-old child. Hey, let me make it clear for you. It's super condescending, but in reality, it's what works. It's unbelievable.
It does work.
Yeah.
We use a lot of bullet points. We use a lot of arrows. This is being sold by other sellers. Here it is. Yes, you got to point it out, and in a respectful, concise way. Because if you think about who you're trying to persuade, right? They don't have time to dig through all your writing and look at the pictures. They're not shopping or selling microphones or whatever the product is. Right. So simplify. I guess dumb it down might be a bit offensive. Make it easy for them to say yes.
You're on this channel, you're fine, brother. Like, we're very about keeping it real. You're good. So yeah.
But don't write, "Dear Amazon staff, I'm dumbing this down for you." All right? Just make it easy for them. Like I said, the people in India that we have met, we've been fortunate enough to find people who will speak to us and give us inside information. Yeah. They're hardworking. They're well educated. Amazon to them is a great, great employer because they promote from within. So make it easy for them to do their job. They're trying to do the right thing.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. And balancing that, people don't always know the answers there. A lot of times they don't. And so
most times they don't.
Everyone who's listening, this has happened so many times. I will never forget the first time this happened. I'm on call, Seller Central, talking to support, and they kept telling me something that was incorrect about the fees. If you run a discount on your fees, the actual selling price, even though if you basically run a discount and in Seller Central it shows you the full fees, but if you run a discount on it, you're only charged on what you sold it for. And they kept telling me, no, you're charged the full. I'm like, no, you're not. I had to talk to 4 people. And I think partly it was just my ego getting in the way because I knew it was right. I wanted someone to agree with me. So the 4th person said, please go back and read your documentation. And finally they said, oh, I guess you were right. And this is what I love about this show and the community here and everyone asking questions. And guys, we're going to jump to your questions right now. 1 second. I want to make one more point. Amazon is not the end all. It's a means to an end. It's a great way to make money, but there are some things frustrating as heck on Amazon. And we want to help you guys make that smoother and easier and automated. So for a moment.
You want to hear something mind-blowing? Like it's like so mind-blowing, like it's like offensive. Yeah. But part of this is also being in the game of making money. Okay. You got to deal with a lot of ridiculous stuff no matter what business you're in. Okay. And I can't get into the specifics of how I learned some of this information. But there's an aspect of Amazon that you call and call and call. And in this case, there must have been like 64 different reps, right? And finally, a decision was made, and Amazon reverses 50% of the decisions made at that level. 50%.
Wow.
After like killing sellers. Yeah. So stop with the phone. You just take a walk.
Yeah.
Also, when you're frustrated, you're writing something, don't send it. Okay. Read it, chill out. Remember, the person reading it isn't the one screwing you. They're an employee by a gigantic conglomerate, right? Yep. So take a step back and just chill out and send something that's persuasive. I mean, the goal is here to make money. Our goal is here to be successful and live a lifestyle that you're happy with, right? So that's how you have to write it to accomplish that goal, not prove that you're right, okay? Get that guy on the other side to click, your ASIN's fine, go back to business. Your account is back on. When you're suspended, your money's tied up too. They reinstate, you get your money, Yeah. So keep your eye on it. If you're all pissed off and stressed, take a break, okay? Yeah,
chill out.
An extra hour is not going to kill you.
That's such a good point. And even if you go back 15 or 20 years, even 30 years, when you didn't have the same opportunities at Amazon, you wanted to start a business. Most likely it was brick and mortar. You needed 50, 70, 100,000 just to get started. You can start Amazon so much easier. So everyone remember that. Yeah, there are certain things that are a pain in the butt, but the opportunity to start making money faster, is it hard? Yes, it's hard. Are you going to have to fight for it? Yes. But comparing that to starting a brick and mortar, like think about the opportunity, guys. Yes, the fact that you're selling in their platform gives them the power and they could shut you down for what seems like just about anything, right? But at the same time, the opportunity should balance that out. So just keep that in mind, guys, when you're selling on Amazon. If you have
Could you imagine selling products, right? And having to go to get permits to open your store or deal with the electrician who doesn't show up, right? Or the returns or the bathrooms, like your customers clog the toilet, right? Or you're in all these shipping problems, so it's a huge opportunity. And just listen, my mother used to say about work, you don't got to like it. You just got to do it, right? So there's some of that is still true. But I mean, nowadays, instead of being tied to that retail store, I mean, you could work from anywhere. You could be on a sailboat sitting at your pool, travel to Florida in the winter and New York in the summer. This is huge for sellers. So go for it. Do it smart. Expect some stress. That's business.
Expect lots of it. Comparing stress working here versus working for Amazon. I'm sorry, working for Apple. Right. Apple, it was stressful, but it was way less stress, but it was stress that was harder to manage because it was always about trying to please the boss. Where working for myself, I can manage it. I can create that stress, and that stress is motivating. And there's a huge difference there as well. Okay, so I'm going to just run through some of these questions here. We got a ton of questions, and everyone, thanks for your patience. I hope this is super helpful. Guys, if you haven't yet signed up for the summit, do it. And today's Wednesday, starting tomorrow, there's a huge discount on it, 35 freaking percent, 35% if you do it tomorrow. You will have an opportunity to hear CJ speak. I've asked him to leave room for Q&A as well, because I know you guys have thousands of questions. And again, this guy will kick Amazon's butt. He is a lawyer. He's from New York, and he'll make it happen.
Now, I got to tell you also, the speakers you guys have lined up, and I speak at Amazon events all over the world. You got some really, really great people who know their stuff, who are also personal and willing to share their information. I know you got Ashlyn and you got Karen. Yep. And I mean, you got, it's probably one of the best, if not the best, domestic program for Amazon sellers, where you're not going to be pitched, you're going to be taught, you know. And some people hope to get like one nugget of information when they go to these things. Every speaker you guys are going to learn something from. I'm going to be sitting there taking notes when I'm not talking, because I always learn. Ashlyn gets on the stage or Karen gets on the stage, I'm like, my notebook is out and I'm taking notes.
Yeah.
And a lot of the other programs, you don't get a lot of inspiration from, because listen, you need to be educated and you need to be inspired. And it's going to be great. And Vegas is always awesome.
And he's 100% right. This is not about selling you guys stuff. Do people have services? Yes, but here's what we told every speaker. Keep it interesting and give tons of content. Help people succeed. That's it. If we do that, everything takes care of itself from there. And that's what it's just like when you're selling on Amazon, you guys. When you help your customer and bring them value, the money side takes care of itself. You focus on serving them. That's the best way to build a business. Okay, so here we go. We got a ton of questions. We'll get through whatever we can. Let's see. I'm scrolling up here. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm looking for lawyer-related questions. Yeah, totally agreed, Kyle. He's talking about the brick and mortar, getting out of brick and mortar and how difficult it is compared to running a business online. Let's see. Can someone give me advice on shipping from China? Created my FBA shipping plan. Should I use my business address? Alicia, we have a team. Just when it has a team in China, we have 5 people in office in Yiwu. We have a shipping freight forwarder company devoted to us. We can help you with that. Absolutely. I will give you the link in a moment and you can contact them. Okay, let's see. Scrolling up. I have to find a way to make it happen. Meeting CJ and everyone. Absolutely, Sam. Hope you can make it there, brother. Okay, what would be the best first, second, third step to take if our account is suppressed, CJ, or suspended? Would we first contact a lawyer? Would we leverage Amazon tools to address it first? What are your thoughts on that?
You know, it depends on how comfortable you are with yourself. If you can write reasonably well, and listen, here are the 3 sections to write your own plan of action. Yep. Root cause, okay? Root cause. You want to identify what caused the problem, and then write something that says how you're going to do better so that that problem won't arise again. But unless Amazon has you by the balls and you are 100% certain that they know you did something wrong, and you have to be really certain, don't admit to doing anything wrong. Yep. Just describe a way of getting better so that that root cause of the problem doesn't come up again. But don't admit to doing something wrong if you didn't, and don't admit doing something wrong unless they got you, okay? Root cause, first section. The second cause, your immediate corrective action. That's exactly what we call it, immediate corrective action. And there you want to write down what you did to make that customer happy, even if the customer was screwing you and stealing your product, okay? You give them a refund, you offer them another product for free, you told them they can keep it, okay? That's what you write. That's what you got to do. And again, let a customer steal this much money from you so your account stays open to make this much.
That principle right there, CJ. People know this, what you just said. I know how it feels when you feel screwed over by a customer that's taking advantage of you. They're a jerk, you don't like them. I get all that. But think about what he just said. Are you really going to risk your business because your ego got in the way of one customer? Get over it. Take care of the customer. Give them what they want. And think about the big picture. It's not worth it. Think about the big picture. Okay, back to you, CJ.
That's 100% right. You got to keep your eye on the ball, which is keeping your business going, okay? Yeah. So third section is the long-term changes to your business or systemic changes. What are you going to do going forward for the long haul to make your business better? And everyone can be better. I'm reorganizing my law firm. You know, probably once a month, we look at how can we get better, whether it's software, internally, the file system, right? How we're answering our phone calls, where they're getting bounced around, okay? So you want to identify in your business what you're going to do to be better, right? Maybe it's hiring more people, switching shipping companies, going FBA, pulling out of FBA, right? Making sure your stuff matches what's in the brick and mortar stores, using a different distributor, whatever it is. Describe the changes, and it doesn't have to be overnight. If you're a big seller or medium-sized seller, it takes time to implement programs, right? But you have to describe something, a systemic change, that you will be a better seller. That's what they want to hear. And there's an old Cajun saying, right? It's easier to ride the horse in the direction that it's going. Right? So give them what they want.
Yeah.
Okay. But don't admit that you did something wrong, because that could blow up in your face later on.
Good point.
Give them what they want concisely, so you can do it yourself. If you're uncomfortable, everyone can do their own tax returns, but a lot of people go to a CPA. Then call us and we'll help you out. We charge the same as the non-lawyers who do this type of work. About 40% of our practice has nothing to do with the law. I mean, writing a plan of action for an inauthentic has nothing to do with my legal education. Zero. But we have a team of 10 college-educated writers doing nothing but plans of action every day. So we're really good at it, and we can bang them out really quickly. Yeah. And we, as far as I'm aware, we are the only company writing plans of action for sellers who actually have a centralized team. If you want to know who and where your plan of action is coming from, Google the address. All right. If it's a PO box, don't go there. All right. If you want a team of people with cumulative knowledge, use us. But every seller, you can try to do it yourself. And if it fails, as long as you don't write something crazy, you're not really going to harm yourself in any way. So you can give it a shot yourself first. And if it's not effective, then give us a call. And I'm always happy to help your people. Then call me and I'll talk to them about it. Say, you know what? Maybe you want to take out the part about your Mercedes. You may want to remove that. Okay. Or you were going to take a vacation to Bali, right? You may want to just take that out a little bit.
I appreciate that a lot, I'm sure. That's a good point. And it's funny, you talked about improving things. I don't know if you guys can see right there, my whiteboard, but that's exactly what I've been working on. Automation, you're always reinventing. How can I automate? How can I make this better? How can I make it more effective? That's
kind of part of the fun also. I mean, that's kind of the adventure of being an entrepreneur.
You're building something new. You're figuring out what works. You fail, you have victory. You fail, and you figure it along the way. Like that freedom, that ability for your brain to generate ideas and build something and work with people and hire some people, fire some people, figure this out, get more products, innovate, try to talk to someone who can actually do a patent. All of this, it's life, you guys. That's what I love about being an entrepreneur.
The same also, like it's not how many times, it's not falling, it's how you get back up.
Amen. We're all gonna fall 1,000 times a day. Will you keep getting back up? So true.
And this is the best. I think this is the best business to continually improve yourself and reinvent yourself.
Yeah, and that's the fun part. Like every morning, CJ, when I get up and stand in front of the mirror, I had someone ask this, like, what is your routine? I stand in front of the mirror and I look at myself and I say, you are the only person who can get in the way of your success. Don't blame anyone else. You are. So get the you-know-what out of your way and bust your ass and have fun and go for it. And when I have that mentality and own my stuff, it helps me to succeed better. And I encourage everyone watching right now, have that mentality. Think about it. We're all doing different stuff. We're all different kinds of entrepreneurs, different personalities, but what's similar is we're building something that has meaning. So we can all, vacation in Bali.
I gotta tell you, I'm also at the summit. The fact that there are people coming from all different parts of the country that are coming in.
67.
The things that you don't see from your own, like I'm in New York. I'm in a suburb of New York, right? I grew up in this town. I'm not ever leaving this town. It's a real small town. There are definitely times I don't even leave the barrier island. Okay, but when I get the perspective of someone from Indiana or California or Minnesota or Montana, and you're like, well, how do you see this? You're like, oh my God, like I just missed that. And you get that by interacting.
Yeah, it's amazing. Guys, think about this. 67 countries, people from 67 countries, all in one place, helping each other, learning, and then with hand-picked experts to come and teach you. That's what the summit's about. And that's what, enough said on that. Okay, awesome. So guys, I want to encourage you before I forget. So make sure you go to AmazonSellersLawyer.com. AmazonSellersLawyer.com. That is where CJ's team is. Now, just so you know, I'm not getting paid a dime for this. I'm saying this because I believe it and because I've seen it. That's it. There is a huge clock on the wall in my office. It's huge. And someone pointed out one day, CJ, she's like, that clock never changes its time. Like, you're right. It's broken. Like, the battery needs to be changed. I don't ever look at the clock because I need to know the time. I have a phone. I have my computer. The clock reminds me of time, which is an asset that I cannot get a refund on. if you are building a business and you need help and you need to move forward, or you're in that final quarter, which you all are, and you need to get something done fast, call someone who's an expert, have them do it for you. You spend more money now, you make more money later. That is my pitch for why you should use lawyers. That sounds horrible, use lawyers. That sounds bad, man. You know what I mean? I had a lawyer take care of all my trademarks. So much easier than having to deal with that myself. And anytime there's anyone who has something similar to our trademarks, I get notification, I get a whole letter proposal. Do you want to send a cease and desist? All that stuff. I don't have to worry about it. That's awesome. And so that's why I encourage you guys to reach out to this team. Okay. Austin, we got your question. Sam, does the prohibition, he's referring to when Amazon limits a product, said you can't sell this product, it's not allowed, blah, blah, blah. Regarding items, is it different from state to state, from country to country? Is it just like the lottery, or are there a precise set of rules throughout the world?
All right. There are differences in countries, okay? Like selling in the UK is different than selling in the US. There are certain products you can't take that would make the US and sell them there, and vice versa. Is it like, just erratic? It's totally erratic sometimes. It's usually there's nothing about the law affecting some things, but some things sort of make sense. So it's kind of all the above. There's some that have no rhyme or reason. There are others that make sense. And definitely there's some issues country versus country. So it's all the above. If someone has a particular question about either a product category, because sellers usually don't want to identify their product, but if it's a category, I'd be able to answer a little bit more intelligently. Yeah. But it's all the above. Some make sense, some make absolutely no sense at all. Some have to do with different regulations, like pajamas. You have to be flame resistant to sell children's pajamas, right? And that doesn't exist in other countries, right? Yeah. So that's one of the things you can sell there, but you can't sell it here. Baby formulas. No, there's a whole bunch of things that fall into those categories, but you don't have to reveal anything. If anybody calls me or writes to me, you get the full attorney-client privilege, whether you hire me or not. Like, you tell me about you're selling your widget. It's a world's greatest widget. It's going to make $1 gazillion. You're the next fidget spinner guy. And you don't hire me, I still can't use that information. Right. Also, unlike a lot of the other people out there who try and help you with your plans of action, I don't sell anything. And no one who works with me is allowed to sell anything because we have this whole protection. Yeah. That makes sense. And you got to be careful of that. I mean, sellers are kind of a secretive bunch about their products, willing to share experiences, but not their products. Anything you tell us is protected. You write it to me, you send it to me in a smoke signal, I'll capture it in a bottle and no one will know about it. Nice.
I'm wondering, California, I used to live in California. Talk about restrictions and laws and Proposition 65 and all that stuff. Do you find more restrictions related to that state than other states, or no?
No, not really. We've had like one or two instances I can think of in the last year or so. Okay. But no, I went to law school in San Francisco. Okay. Great place to visit. I didn't love living there. Maybe I should have stayed, maybe not. Right. But we don't see any particular state does not stand out. You'd think it would, but we don't see it.
That's really helpful. Could you help regarding issues with Amazon, DE, Germany, or United Kingdom?
We can handle the plans of action and the appeals and the Bezos team escalations and all that other stuff. If Amazon ultimately tells you to go jump in a lake, unlike in the US, your remedy there is to go to court in Luxembourg, and that we can't do. There's some things like, IP issues that we can't get involved in. It's like IP versus IP. We can't practice law there. But the 95% of what sellers face has nothing to do with those types of issues, and we can help. We've dealt with Germany, Spain, Italy, France. The UK is a constant pain in the ass to work with. Japan, Mexico. We are getting into Australia. Australia is opening up. Huge opportunity in Australia. Yep. English speaking. But yeah, all those different countries we can help. Sometimes we have people that do real good translations for us. Sometimes we have to rely upon, translation mechanism that sellers can use themselves. But yeah, we can help you in Germany.
Okay, very helpful.
Germany's very rational. Germany seems to be very easy to deal with. The UK, you expect the UK to be a bit easier, but they're worse. They're very difficult.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's helpful. Amazon deals. Okay, someone says, I'm from Hyderabad, my friend. We do read everything. We do have running water. We do have patience. Thank you. And I appreciate you sharing.
No, you do. Listen, I am very careful not to be offensive. And unfortunately, there is poverty there. But the people in Hyderabad and Bangalore are incredible people. A lot of people denigrate them. They write to Amazon. I'd rather have your plan of action end up in India than in Costa Rica or Ireland or Seattle, okay? Because they want to do a good job. Unlike, the articles about Seattle where the people hated working at Amazon. The people in India, we appreciate them. We interview some of them, and they do great work. So I didn't mean to offend you. There is poverty. It exists, and we recognize that.
Yep. It's in America too.
No offense was intended.
Yeah. All right. Jeffrey says, did he submit the detailed info to Seller Central or to another channel?
Oh, and tell that guy to call me. We want to interview him.
Perfect. So Amazon Deals, his name is Amazon Deals in here. Call CJ. AmazonSellerLawyer.com so he can interview. Absolutely. That would be awesome. Thank you, man. Okay, what about sales tax? I'm going to just read the question. Michael says, Seth, can you ask CJ about the sales tax that Amazon wants to drop on sellers' laps instead of taking
Can I curse?
responsibility and doing it on their own? Ask him what his take on the whole thing is. And then someone else said, +1. What do you think about this?
Okay, first, I think it's totally fucked up that Amazon takes your product, sends it to other states that without your permission or your knowledge necessarily gets sold, and then those states want to come to you and Amazon's not standing up.
Right.
Okay. I think Amazon, they're already collecting, I think, in Washington State first. Eventually they will collect sales tax in all 50 states, and then they'll pay it and take it off your shoulders. Then there's this whole craziness with the amnesty program. And right now we're in the development stage working with a CPA and accountant to develop something to handle this thing just for sellers, where sellers have very special needs and very special businesses that need to be addressed. So we're working with a CPA right now to sort of develop this business model to help you. The amnesty program is kind of crazy because the states, it's like 19 states, and they say to you, tell us how much you sold and then pay us all the sales taxes and we won't come after you, right? With no penalties. And on the one hand, that sounds great.
Right.
But let's say you sold $500,000 worth of stuff there.
Yeah.
You're going to owe 8% or whatever it is, right? Times 500, right? And then going forward, where right now you don't really have a debt. So what is sellers doing? Most sellers are not participating in it because they're afraid.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would advise. I certainly wouldn't want to pay out of, also I owe $60,000 where I didn't have that debt before. So I don't really know exactly what the answer is, but most sellers are not participating in the amnesty program because they don't want to get stuck writing that big check. Ultimately, I think the way it's going to play out is Amazon will collect it because they're the ones actually conducting the FBA sales. They're the ones collecting the money. They'll have a better mechanism. They have the resources to do it. So for now, a lot of people laying low, and I can't say I disagree with it.
Yeah. And I also encourage you, Michael, if you are able to be at the summit, Jennifer Dunn, she is a sales tax expert. She's going to be there teaching on this exact topic. And that session is 100% Q&A. Because taxes are such a boring subject, I thought, you know what? Let's just make it all Q&A because people have tons of questions. And that's something we're going to dig deep in as well.
She knows her stuff. She's smart. She knows her stuff. She's been in this early.
Yep.
Yeah, she knows her stuff.
She has a full-on 60-minute presentation interview as a private interview I did with her. And it's just pure content. Like no extra stuff, no extra, it's just pure content from beginning to end. And we only give that to people on our team. So if you are on the team, guys, go to the start stage. You'll see it there. If you're not, join Just One Dime. We will provide this content. The number one complaint I get right now for people who join our team is there's so much content, it's hard to keep up. And I'm proud of that. And that's where we break it down into steps. Guys, we will help you with this kind of stuff. And that's why I talk to people like CJ who are experts in fields so we can provide that kind of information. And then at the summit, you get to see these people live and in person. Okay, let's go to, we'll do 2 more questions. Dr. Tsunami, good to see you. Brother, hello, my account is under review after almost 1 month. My question is, do you think that my sales are influenced by this and Amazon inclined not to show my listings in the targeted keywords? I don't understand the question. Could you expound a little bit? Because if your account is under review, oh, I see what you're saying. It's under review, but it's not suspended. So you're wondering if that's somehow affected your sales. To my knowledge, it doesn't at all, but I don't know. What do you know?
I don't think it does either. I don't think it affects the buy box, but it might. But I haven't seen it affect. Usually accounts that are under review, you're going to be successful at the end of the day. Right. Just stay the course. I mean, don't change anything. Don't expand into other brands. Don't change your credit card. Don't move.
Yeah.
Just stay the course. And I got to tell you, any seller out there, you're making money right now. Don't change anything right now. If you need to make changes, you need to get rid of a partner, you want to change banks, whatever, which I generally advise against anyway, do it after Christmas. Yeah. Don't change anything right now. Ride out the money, make your money in Q4. Don't change. Any change could spark a problem. So don't create a problem where there is none. And then whatever your bank is fine.
Right, because you don't lose all those sales. We had one guy where he applied, he put in a product, he sent it in, he had it differentiated and everything, and they want a form to be filled out for hazmat review. So he goes back to the factory, he gets the material safety data sheet, he uses the information, he fills out the form, he sends it in, and it's been almost 4 weeks, and he's going, what's going on? And so I went and I talked to someone who specializes in this stuff, and he said, you know, this last quarter, you guys, it's going to be slow. Why? Because they're so busy. According to one person, I don't know how true it is, there's 400% increase in the numbers of things being sent into Amazon this last quarter. So if you're waiting for something and it takes 3 times as long, that's probably why. So be patient, you guys. And remember, you're not in Amazon for the 4th quarter. You're in Amazon to make money long-term. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. Don't do something rash today and emotional, and then boom, your future self goes, my goodness, why did you do that? Look at all the sales we lost because you weren't patient. Be patient, you guys. It takes time to build a business.
Yeah, I wouldn't add any products where you need approvals. Like this hazmat thing. Yeah. If this guy did it in like September, October, it was a strategic blunder. You know, you should recover from it, but just stay the course. And once you hit September, October, now you're riding the wave. Okay, ride the wave. Keep your products inventory good. Keep your metrics up. Focus on it. I mean, that's also why, like a lot of like the events in March, you're not going to hold an event in November, December, right? You guys got to focus right now. Don't rock the boat. Ride the horse in the direction that it's going. And then if you want to revamp your products, get something else, go for gating, whatever, do it after the new year.
Yeah, very good. One last question, and thank you so much, CJ, for being here today. So Amanda says, is it worth having this detailed invoice, the one we talked about earlier, on hand in your files just in case, instead of waiting for the worst to happen?
Always. From the moment you're buying your products, ordering your products, create a file outside of Amazon and keep it handy so that if you get an inauthentic or any other problem, you can bang it right out. There are a lot of software programs that help you organize this thing. Yeah. We used to recommend Shoebox a lot to newer sellers to organize their invoices and their receipts. There's a lot of stuff out there. And I want to ask you one thing when we're done. I didn't bring it up before, but I'd like to. I hope it's okay. Yeah. But absolutely, you should always be preparing to address an inauthentic or a problem. You get it, and you be like, oh, no big deal. I got my invoices lined up, and boom, send it right out the door. Piece of cake.
Absolutely.
Can I pump something? Can I promo something and just
absolutely, man, go for it.
Total promotion?
Yeah, you bet. Go for it.
Amazon has this fantastic program called Amazon Smile. Okay. If you're buying products, and we all not only sell, we buy. Okay. If you're buying on Amazon, go through Amazon Smile, pick a charity. My charity is the Ty Lewis Campbell Foundation. It was started by a frat brother of mine, and him and his wife lost one of their sons to brain cancer. And the percentage of money gets put into pediatric cancers is so small. And when a child dies, we lose so much. You lose that child in their life and the productivity, and it destroys, families. So Ty Lewis Campbell Foundation, they turned this awful tragedy of losing their boy into this fantastic foundation that raises money solely to find cures for pediatric cancers. So Amazon Smile, the Ty Lewis Campbell Foundation, great, great charity, great people. Even if he wasn't a frat brother of mine, I'd pump his charity. They have these events called like the Mud Fest, where they set up these huge things that like giant tents for food fights for kids. Giant fucking thing where you just jump in mud and have fun, all to raise money for this foundation, the Ty Lewis Campbell Foundation, for pediatric cancer. So if you're not doing Amazon Smiles, do it. It costs you nothing. Amazon just kicks a little bit back to the charity. Buy it yourself, pump it, please, pay it forward. We're all blessed, and it helps to just help others when you can. It's no skin off your nose, and it's a really great foundation.
Awesome. I just added it to the chat, guys. It's Amazon Smile, Ty Lewis Campbell Foundation for Pediatric Cancer. Thank you, CJ. And to answer that question, guys, do for the program, that is the one I recommend. All right, guys, I'll make sure this goes in. Okay, perfect. That's the one I recommend. Awesome. Hey, CJ, thank you so much for being here today. Any last words of wisdom or advice? We have, how many people are here right now? We have 141 people, and a lot more people later will watch this that you would say. So there's 140 people sitting in a room right now listening. What's the best advice, closing advice you can give them as they journey on? Some of these people do 7 million a month. Some of them have just started. What would you advise people?
Go for it. Get in the game. It's fun. It's profitable. It's great opportunity. Anybody with a cell phone and a credit card can now compete and get into this thing. I would recommend, if you're just starting, sell products that you know and that you yourself love. You know, if you're into cooking, then sell cooking utensils. If you're into sports, some kind of niche that you already know about, get into it. If you're selling right now, whatever you're doing, just stay the course. If there's a bump in the road, don't stress. Take a deep breath. If you need some advice, call or write. You can handle this stuff yourself. Just like you're able to start your business yourself, you can handle the problems also. And I think that this community is just tremendous for helping each other, which is huge. So stay the course, get in the game.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, CJ. Next time I'm in New York, I will see you.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
All right, man. See ya. Take care. Bye-bye.